Amara built a life so beautiful that nobody noticed she built it to protect herself. She loved freedom the way drowning people love oxygen. People called her selfish, but nobody ever asked what happened to women who gave up everything.
You know, I was thinking maybe next year we finally have a baby.
Why does everybody say that like it's the final stage of being a woman?
Because maybe it is.
If motherhood is supposed to complete me, why does the thought of it feel like dying? I spent my whole life becoming someone. Why does everybody suddenly want me to disappear into mom? Women are the only people expected to lose themselves and call it love.
Nobody fears motherhood out loud. Women are taught to whisper that fear like a crime.
What childbirth really feels like.
Her fear wasn't irrational, it was ancient. Some women feared loneliness. Amara feared becoming trapped inside her own body.
People call it beautiful because they survive it. Everybody talks about the baby. Nobody talks about what happens to the woman.
She didn't hate children. She hated the idea of disappearing. The world romanticized sacrifice so much that women stopped recognizing their own suffering.
Honestly, motherhood gave my life purpose. You'll understand eventually. Why do women say you'll understand, like suffering is a membership club? Your biological clock is screaming. Maybe the sound you hear is panic.
Women who didn't want motherhood were treated like unfinished stories. Nobody questioned a man who wanted freedom forever. But a woman? That made people uncomfortable.
Do you ever imagine what our baby would look like?
Sometimes.
You'd be an amazing mother.
People see nurturing in women the same way they see wings on birds. Like we were born with no choice.
I'm terrified that one day my entire identity will become somebody else's mother.
That was the secret nobody knew about Amara Okoye.
She wasn't afraid of children. She was afraid of never seeing herself again. Some women dream about becoming mothers. Amara dreamed about surviving herself.
Some news changes your life slowly. This changed hers in a single breath.
Women spend years being warned not to get pregnant. Then suddenly everyone expects pregnancy to feel like a blessing.
No! No, no, no! How can something so small make your entire life feel over? Nobody warns women that fear and motherhood can arrive together.
This wasn't joy, it wasn't excitement. It felt like being locked inside a future she never chose.
Tunde.
Wait, seriously? We're having a baby.
That was the moment guilt entered the room, because the man she loved was celebrating the exact thing that terrified her. Do you realize this is the beginning of our family?
Funny how the same moment can feel like a miracle to one person and mourning to another.
Why do you look scared?
Because everybody keeps calling this a blessing while my body feels like a hostage situation.
Women are expected to become mothers gracefully. Nobody prepares people for women who arrive there screaming internally.
We are pregnant!
The world celebrates pregnant women before asking if they're okay. Sometimes the body creates life while the mind falls apart.
I can't do this.
Everybody talks about maternal instinct like it magically appears. What if mine never comes?
She already felt herself disappearing. Not physically, personally.
I spent years building a life I loved. Why does everybody expect me to sacrifice it with a smile?
Nobody talks about how lonely, difficult decisions feel, especially decisions women are judged for before they even make them.
Why does love always make women choose between themselves and everyone else? If I walk inside, I lose him. If I don't, I lose myself.
That was the cruel thing about fear. Sometimes no choice feels survivable.
Drive.
And just like that, Amara Okoye entered motherhood the way some people enter prison, terrified, grieving, and completely alone.
Pregnancy was supposed to make her feel powerful. Instead, she felt evicted from her own body.
Nobody tells women how terrifying it feels to watch your body become public property. Every stretch mark feels like proof that I'm disappearing.
Pregnancy changed her body first, but the real damage was happening inside her mind.
Before pregnancy, people saw ambition when they looked at Amara. Now they saw motherhood approaching.
For the international expansion, I propose targeting EMA first.
Maybe somebody else should handle the international expansion project.
Why?
You'll probably want less stress soon.
It's amazing how quickly successful women become fragile in people's minds the moment they get pregnant.
We're just thinking about the baby.
That's the problem. Everybody is.
She spent years fighting to become visible. Motherhood was making her disappear in real time.
I worked this hard just to become somebody people speak around.
Generations of women survived motherhood silently, and many of them mistook survival for happiness.
I've been thinking of baby names. Maybe Adara for a girl or Chidi for a boy.
Every woman eventually understands that motherhood is her real purpose. Why does everybody talk about motherhood like women are born owing the world children? Don't say things like that. Women before you sacrificed much more without complaining. Maybe because nobody allowed them to complain. You're thinking too much. No. I'm thinking for the first time in my life about what I actually want.
The hardest thing about disappointing people is realizing how much of your life was built around avoiding it. Every week brought her closer to the thing she feared most. Childbirth wasn't a future event anymore. It was hunting her.
Nobody posts the part where they mourn themselves. There's really somebody inside me. Everybody keeps calling this beautiful. Why does it feel like my life is closing in on me?
That was the loneliness nobody prepared her for. Feeling fear in moments the world told her should feel magical. Fear becomes exhausting when the world keeps treating it like overreaction, especially when your nightmare is somebody else's miracle.
Most first births can last between 12 and 20 hours. Amara, you okay? You'll probably want to think about your birth plan soon.
It's strange calling trauma a birth plan.
A lot of women feel nervous.
Nervous is a speech. Nervous is a first date. This feels like somebody describing my death calmly.
People kept trying to normalize her fear. But fear doesn't shrink just because it's common.
Let me show you the stages of vaginal delivery. Here's the cervix dilating and the baby's head descending.
And that's safe?
Women survive this every day, and somehow nobody talks about how horrifying that is.
This was the first room where nobody expected her fear to sound pretty.
Tell me what scares you most.
Everything. The pain. The loss of control. The possibility of dying. The possibility of surviving and never feeling like myself again.
People act like women become mothers naturally. But what if my body can do this, and my mind can't?
You're not broken for being afraid.
Then why does everybody make me feel defective?
Sometimes the deepest loneliness comes from feeling abnormal in experiences everyone else celebrates.
Tokophobia doesn't sleep. It waits quietly until the lights go out.
Push.
Hold her down.
This is normal.
Please stop talking about my body like I'm not inside it.
Amara, hey.
I feel trapped. Inside my body, inside this pregnancy, inside everybody else's expectations.
I don't know how to help you anymore.
That's because everybody thinks pregnancy is happening for women instead of to them.
You act like this baby is ruining your life.
You want the honest answer or the answer good women are supposed to give?
I just thought this would make us happy.
I think women fake happiness so often during motherhood that nobody recognizes fear anymore.
You're scaring me.
Imagine your worst fear growing inside you, and everybody congratulating you for it.
Love becomes fragile when two people are grieving different futures. And somewhere between fear and expectation, Amara stopped recognizing the sound of her own voice.
Nothing feels lonelier than being miserable at your own celebration.
You must be so excited. It's scary how easily women learn to perform happiness. Pregnancy is the only time people stop treating women like human beings and start treating them like public property.
The strangest part of pregnancy was how invisible she felt inside her own body.
Amara, motherhood is magical. Breastfeeding creates an incredible bond. It's true that late night feedings are tough, but so worth it. And the sleep schedule, it's all about sacrifice, but mom life is beautiful.
It sounds incredible.
I just wonder if it's all worth it.
Every conversation sounded like women trying to convince themselves the suffering was worth it.
Will be Amara. Motherhood is the greatest thing a woman can experience. You'll never love anything more. Why do women only speak honestly about motherhood in whispers?
Because good mothers don't complain.
Maybe that's why so many women are silently drowning. Trust me, once the baby arrives, your instincts will kick in. You'll see. Everybody keeps promising I'll become somebody else after birth. What if I miss who I was before?
Motherhood was the only role where grieving your old self made people uncomfortable. Sometimes the loudest room becomes unbearable when you're pretending inside it.
I look happier in memories than I do in my own life. Nobody warns women that motherhood can feel like attending your own funeral.
Talk to me.
Everybody keeps celebrating somebody I haven't even become yet, while I'm mourning somebody nobody noticed disappearing.
Sometimes love sounds less like advice and more like silence beside someone hurting.
This belonged to me when I had you.
Generational expectations often arrive disguised as love.
Now it's your turn.
What if I'm not built for this?
Women before you didn't ask that question.
Maybe because nobody cared whether they were suffering. Everybody keeps telling me motherhood is beautiful. Then why do I feel like I'm losing everything?
The most dangerous lies are the ones society teaches women to call normal.
And somewhere between the flowers, the gifts, and the congratulations, Amara realized nobody at that party was celebrating her anymore.
Amara?
I'm not ready.
Okay. Hospital bag, phone.
Nobody talks about how terrifying labor feels when your body becomes something you no longer control.
My body feels like it's betraying me.
Tokophobia turns hospitals into horror scenes before anything even happens.
First baby? You'll be okay. Why does everybody say that like fear listens to reassurance?
You're 4 centimeters dilated. Pregnancy is terrifying because everybody speaks about your body like it belongs to science now.
I can't do this!
You can.
Women don't get medals for surviving things that destroy them quietly.
Pain changes people, not just physically, emotionally.
The baby's heart rate is dropping.
I knew something terrible would happen.
The difference between fear and trauma is timing.
We may need emergency intervention.
Look at me. Okay, stay with me.
Everybody told me women were built for this. Why does it feel like my body is breaking apart? Please make it stop!
Breathe, Amara, breathe.
You're doing great. Keep pushing.
It hurts so much!
At some point during labor,
It hurts!
Amara stopped feeling human. She became pain. The world tells women that childbirth ends with magic. Sometimes it ends with shock.
It's a boy.
He's perfect.
Do you want to hold him? Why don't I feel anything?
Nobody prepares women for the guilt of not becoming a mother instantly.
Everybody talks about maternal instinct, but nobody talks about emotional shock.
You did it.
It feels like somebody else's life is happening to me.
And while everyone else celebrated the beginning of motherhood, Amara quietly mourned the end of herself. The baby survived. Amara survived. But survival and healing are not the same thing. Nobody warns women that motherhood begins in survival mode. Sleep deprivation doesn't just exhaust the body. It slowly erases the mind.
I didn't know exhaustion could make you feel emotionally violent.
People romanticize newborns because they never show the mothers unraveling beside them.
Maybe he's hungry again.
My body isn't even mine anymore. It's just a machine keeping somebody alive.
Motherhood felt less like becoming someone new and more like disappearing slowly.
Pregnancy changed her body. Motherhood changed how she saw herself.
Women are expected to survive childbirth, then return looking untouched.
You're beautiful.
Everybody says that like beauty is supposed to replace grief.
You just had a baby.
Exactly. So why do I feel like I lost one person and gave birth to another?
Postpartum depression doesn't always look like sadness. Sometimes it looks like mourning.
The baby entered the room and became everyone's center of gravity. Amara became background noise in her own life.
How's the baby sleeping? Does he look more like Tunde? Motherhood suits you. Everybody asks if the baby is okay. Nobody asks if the mother survived.
This child brought so much joy.
Loneliness feels crueler when surrounded by people.
Talk to me.
I miss my old life so much it physically hurts. I miss waking up and belonging to myself.
Do you regret him?
That's the cruel part. I love him, and I still hate what this did to me.
Women are taught motherhood should erase resentment, but feelings don't disappear just because society finds them uncomfortable.
I don't know how to be somebody's mother without feeling like I buried myself alive.
Healing didn't begin when Amara became happy. It began the moment she finally stopped lying.
And somewhere between the crying, the exhaustion, and the silence, Amara realized motherhood wasn't destroying her all at once. It was doing it slowly.
There's a kind of exhaustion that sleep cannot fix. The exhaustion of never belonging to yourself anymore.
Morning.
My body hurts everywhere.
You should nap today.
Mothers don't rest. They just collapse eventually. I'm so tired of being touched.
You don't mean that.
That's the problem. Mothers aren't allowed to mean difficult things.
She loved her son. But love and exhaustion were becoming impossible to separate.
Sometimes women return to old spaces hoping to find old versions of themselves waiting there.
Look at you, finally out of mommy mode.
That's funny. Because I haven't felt like a person in months.
So, how's motherhood?
It's like being grateful and grieving at the same time.
At least women are naturally better at parenting.
No, women are just trained earlier to abandon themselves.
Truth becomes uncomfortable when it interrupts people's fantasies.
Do you have to make everything sound so dark?
Do you know what's dark? Feeling invisible inside your own life.
I'm trying, Amara.
Trying to understand me? Or trying to get the old me back?
I miss you.
I miss me too.
Women go through pregnancy, childbirth, identity loss, hormonal collapse.
I just want us to feel normal again.
And society still expects us to return emotionally untouched.
Motherhood changed Amara, but pretending she wasn't changing was destroying her faster. The hardest part wasn't losing freedom. It was losing familiarity with herself.
That woman sounds like somebody I used to know. Nobody talks about how motherhood can feel like identity theft. I gave birth to a child and buried a version of myself at the same time.
Some grief doesn't come from death. Some grief comes from transformation. And every day after becoming a mother, Amara spent longer staring at mirrors searching for evidence that she still existed.
Social media turned motherhood into a performance, and Amara already felt like she was failing the audition.
Motherhood is the most fulfilling thing that's ever happened to me.
I've never felt more feminine.
Women are dying quietly behind pictures they caption with gratitude.
I can't even have one emotion without feeling guilty for it. Everybody says motherhood is natural. Then why does it feel like I'm constantly performing it?
She wasn't failing motherhood. She was failing the fantasy version of it.
Some mothers offer comfort. Others offer expectation disguised as wisdom.
Ah, my grandson. You need to manage the home better. Interesting.
I almost died giving birth and people are still grading my housekeeping.
Women have handled motherhood for generations.
Yes, and generations of women were miserable silently.
You complain too much. No. Women before me just weren't allowed to speak honestly.
Every generation calls the next one dramatic for refusing to suffer quietly.
I won't stand for this.
Women learn early that beauty hides suffering efficiently.
Motherhood looks good on you.
Thank you.
Exhaustion has amazing lighting. So when are you having the second one? Women survive one traumatic experience and society immediately asks when they'll volunteer again.
Do you have to say things like that?
Do you know how exhausting it is pretending motherhood only changed me in beautiful ways?
People are trying to celebrate us.
No. They're celebrating the version of motherhood that makes them comfortable.
The loneliest feeling in the world is being loved more when you're pretending. Sometimes healing begins with finally saying the terrifying thing out loud. Tell me what's been happening.
I feel emotionally buried alive.
Do you feel connected to Cairo?
Some days I love him so much it hurts. Other days I feel trapped beside my own child.
Nobody talks about how motherhood can trigger grief, rage, fear, loneliness, all at the same time.
You're describing postpartum depression.
I don't feel depressed, I feel erased.
That was the tragedy. Amara didn't feel sick. She felt gone.
You are not failing motherhood. You are surviving a massive psychological transformation without support.
Postpartum depression isolates women in rooms full of people who love them.
Look, he's laughing.
I thought motherhood would make me feel fuller. Instead, I feel emotionally hollow.
You don't mean that.
That's what scares me. I do.
Do you still love us?
Love isn't the problem. Survival is.
People assume mothers break because they don't love enough. Sometimes they break because they've given too much.
Exhaustion eventually becomes numbness. And numbness is terrifying because it almost feels peaceful.
Do you know what nobody tells women? You can love your child deeply and still miss your old life enough to grieve it daily.
I used to know exactly who I was. Now every day feels like surviving somebody else's existence.
You're scaring me.
I think I disappeared the day I became a mother.
That was the moment Tunde finally understood. This wasn't negativity. This was suffering. The most dangerous thing about drowning quietly is how long people mistake it for strength.
Sometimes grief arrives wearing your own face. She looks like somebody who still belonged to herself.
I miss the version of me that woke up excited to exist.
Motherhood didn't just change her life. It changed the way she remembered herself.
Nobody talks about identity loss because mothers are expected to call it sacrifice instead.
There's a terrifying moment during identity loss. When you realize you can no longer describe yourself outside your responsibilities. You okay?
Empty.
Do you know what's scary? I can't remember who I was before everybody needed something from me. Before pregnancy, I was a woman. Now I feel like a function.
You're still you.
No, I'm who's left after survival.
Who do you think you were before?
Ambitious.
Creative, spontaneous, soft. Now I just feel tired.
Exhaustion had become her entire personality.
Cut it.
How much? Amara?
Enough to feel different. Women rarely cut their hair over hair. They do it when they no longer recognize the person carrying it. I needed proof that I still have control over something. New beginnings? No, more like survival.
Transformation looks beautiful from the outside. Inside, it often feels like grief.
Healing begins brutally.
With honesty.
I resent being a mother sometimes. Not because I hate my son, because I miss myself. I thought becoming a mother would add to who I was. I didn't know it would consume me first.
Women are expected to lose themselves beautifully. And I'm angry that nobody warned me.
Resentment doesn't make you a bad mother. Silencing yourself nearly did.
The most healing words Amara ever heard were not, "You'll get over this." They were, "You're allowed to feel it."
And for the first time since becoming a mother, Amara stopped trying to sound grateful for her suffering.
Some marriages don't collapse loudly. They erode quietly through exhaustion.
He's getting stronger.
Do you ever notice how motherhood changed my entire existence, while fatherhood mostly changed your schedule?
That's not fair.
Exactly. None of this has felt fair.
Resentment grows fastest in silence.
What do you want me to say?
I want somebody to acknowledge that I disappeared and everybody kept calling it motherhood.
Tunde returned to pieces of his old life. Amara never got hers back.
Motherhood stole my concentration first. Then it came for everything else. The world moves on quickly from women once they become mothers.
She spent years building a life. Then motherhood arrived and reduced her identity to survival.
You could have answered my calls.
I barely answered my own thoughts today.
I'm stressed too, Amara.
You get to leave this life every morning. I'm trapped inside it.
You think I don't sacrifice?
Fatherhood fit into your life. Motherhood swallowed mine whole.
I miss my wife.
I miss her too.
Sometimes relationships don't fail from lack of love. They fail from unequal survival.
Motherhood changed their marriage in ways neither of them knew how to discuss.
I miss being close to you.
My body hasn't felt like mine in almost a year.
Pregnancy touched me, childbirth tore through me, motherhood exhausted me. And now everybody expects intimacy like nothing happened.
I didn't realize you felt this far away.
That's because women are taught to suffer quietly, especially inside marriages.
How do I help?
Stop trying to get the old me back. She didn't survive this.
That was the night Tunde finally understood something terrifying.
Amara wasn't becoming difficult.
She was becoming honest.
And honesty has a dangerous habit. It cracks relationships built on pretending. Resentment grows in the tiny moments nobody else notices.
I don't even remember the last time silence felt normal.
I love you. But I need you to stop crying before I disappear completely.
Every overwhelmed mother has a moment that terrifies her. The moment she realizes she cannot keep absorbing everything.
I just can't.
She wasn't trying to abandon her child. She was trying to find oxygen before she suffocated emotionally.
Women are expected to survive motherhood quietly, even when they're mentally bleeding. I spent my whole life terrified of childbirth. Nobody told me motherhood afterward could be even lonelier.
Not because she stopped loving them. Because she no longer knew where she ended and motherhood began.
Fear changes shape once men realize the woman holding everything together is breaking.
Amara? Amara? Amara!
I didn't realize how much pain you were hiding. No, she didn't say anything, just gone.
She would never leave her child.
That's the problem. Everybody kept expecting her to survive impossible things because she's a mother.
For the first time, people stopped asking whether Amara was grateful and started asking whether she was okay.
This was the first moment in months where nobody needed anything from her. And instead of peace, she felt emptiness.
You scared me.
I scare myself sometimes. I didn't leave because I don't love my son. I left because I couldn't hear myself anymore. Motherhood became so loud that my own identity started sounding distant.
Come home.
Promise me home won't keep swallowing me whole.
Love alone could not heal Amara. But finally being seen was a beginning.
And sitting beside the river that day, Amara realized something terrifying. She had spent months surviving motherhood without surviving herself. After someone almost collapses emotionally,
everyone suddenly becomes gentler.
You deserve a mother who isn't drowning.
You're trying.
Trying and surviving are not the same thing.
Loving her son had never been the problem. Losing herself had. I think people only romanticize motherhood because nobody wants to admit how many women disappear inside it.
African families often confuse silence with strength.
Women today complain too much about motherhood. No. Women today just refuse to die silently inside their roles. Amara! Every generation praises mothers for sacrifice. But nobody asks what those sacrifices cost psychologically.
Motherhood is a blessing.
So is being a woman outside motherhood.
That sentence threatened people. Because women are celebrated for nurturing others, not for protecting themselves.
Sometimes mothers hurt daughters by teaching survival methods that once protected themselves.
You think my generation didn't suffer?
I think your generation suffered so deeply you started calling survival strength.
We didn't have the luxury of falling apart.
And now women inherit trauma disguised as resilience.
After I had you, I cried every night for months. But nobody cared whether mothers were happy back then.
Sometimes healing begins when women stop pretending the generations before them were unbreakable.
Healing doesn't arrive dramatically. Sometimes it begins with finally telling yourself the truth.
Both things can exist.
I spent so much energy trying to become the mother everybody respected. I forgot to protect the woman becoming her.
The saddest part? I judged myself for struggling in a role that nearly destroyed me.
That was the night Amara finally separated two truths society constantly confuses. A woman can love her child deeply and still grieve what motherhood took from her.
And somewhere between the grief, the honesty, and the exhaustion, Amara stopped trying to become the perfect mother and started trying to save herself.
When women spend too long surviving, even small freedoms start feeling emotional. I forgot what it felt like to exist without somebody needing me every second.
Healing often begins with guilt, then slowly becomes permission.
Maybe motherhood isn't supposed to consume women completely. Maybe we were just taught that it should.
Sometimes healing starts when women finally speak honestly around each other.
You look different. I think I finally stopped trying to survive motherhood beautifully. You know something? A lot of women feel exactly like you. Then why does everybody act like motherhood only hurts in poetic ways? Because society forgives exhausted mothers, but not resentful ones. I spent months thinking honesty made me monstrous. No, it made you human.
Amara spent so long trying to become the good mother. She forgot mothers are allowed to remain people.
For the first time, Tunde experienced motherhood's exhaustion without Amara absorbing most of it. How does she survive this every day? We praised her strength while ignoring her suffering.
Women's exhaustion often becomes noticeable only after they stop carrying everyone else.
For the first time since becoming parents, the weight felt shared.
I didn't understand how lonely this was for you.
I wasn't asking anybody to save me. I just needed someone to admit this was heavy.
You carried pain I kept calling adjustment. Go take a bath, sleep, breathe.
You know what's sad? Rest feels luxurious to mothers.
Healing didn't begin when Amara stopped struggling. It began when she stopped struggling alone. And somewhere between exhaustion and honesty, Amara finally took her first breath as a woman who mattered too.
Identity loss becomes real when your old life starts looking unfamiliar.
I spent so long mourning who I used to be that I never asked who I'm becoming.
You look beautiful.
I'm trying to recognize beauty in a version of me I never planned for.
Healing doesn't always look like happiness. Sometimes it looks like softness returning slowly.
Motherhood had convinced Amara she no longer existed outside caregiving. Walking back into work felt like testing whether she was still real.
Amara, you look amazing. We missed you.
Ready to come back and save us?
I'm still trying to save myself first.
Fair enough.
Maybe motherhood didn't erase me. Maybe it buried me under survival. Purpose feels revolutionary after months of emotional disappearance.
Healing becomes visible long before people stop hurting.
You seem lighter.
I think I spent months believing I had to choose between being a woman and being a mother. That belief almost destroyed me.
And now?
Now I think motherhood becomes dangerous when women disappear inside it completely.
I kept waiting to become the mother society respects. But I'm learning to become the woman I can survive as.
That sounds healthier.
Soft.
Healthy women scare societies built on female sacrifice.
Amara finally understood something life-changing. Self-preservation is not selfishness.
The most beautiful part of healing, Ryu's, is how quietly it begins. Dance with me.
I thought I lost you.
I thought I lost myself. Motherhood changed me, but maybe change doesn't always mean destruction.
You're still becoming.
For the first time since childbirth, Amara stopped looking backward every day and started wondering whether her future could still belong to her too.
And somewhere between survival and healing, Amara finally met the woman motherhood didn't destroy, only transformed.
Women are taught to feel guilty for every moment motherhood doesn't consume them completely. He'll be okay.
Why does reclaiming my life feel like abandoning my child? Nobody prepares women for the guilt of needing themselves again.
Healing after motherhood wasn't linear. Every step toward herself came attached to guilt.
Society loves ambitious mothers, as long as motherhood still remains their entire personality.
I could never leave my child with strangers all day.
Same. I just feel mothers should raise their own children. Interesting how fathers using childcare sounds responsible.
But mothers doing the same become selfish. That's not what I meant. Women are expected to sacrifice so completely that even wanting parts of ourselves back becomes controversial.
The harshest judgment mothers receive often comes from women surviving the same pressure silently.
Motherhood rewires fear permanently.
Hello, is Cairo okay?
Yes, he's fine. He had a mild fever earlier, but he's resting now.
Nobody talks about how motherhood turns fear into a permanent background noise.
Healing didn't erase her fear, it simply gave her language for it. Healing doesn't remove guilt, it teaches women not to drown inside it.
I thought once I started finding myself again, everything would feel lighter. Instead, I just found new things to feel guilty about.
You care so deeply that even your healing hurts.
I don't want him growing up feeling like he ruined my life.
Because he didn't. But pretending motherhood didn't wound me would ruin me instead.
That was the difference now. Amara no longer feared her honesty.
And somewhere between guilt and healing, Amara learned something life-changing. A mother does not have to disappear to prove she loves her child.
Trauma has a memory, and Amara's body remembered everything.
No, not again. I can't do this. No. No. I barely survived becoming a mother the first time. I cannot disappear again.
Tokophobia never truly left her. It had simply gone quiet after childbirth.
Amara?
Some women fear childbirth. Amara feared losing herself again.
We'll figure this out.
That's what everybody said before my entire mind collapsed.
People think trauma ends after survival. Nobody talks about surviving something so painful that even the possibility of repeating it terrifies you.
I'm not scared of motherhood. I'm scared of what it did to me.
This wasn't weakness. This was trauma remembering itself.
Trauma can make the future feel dangerous long after the danger passes.
Tell me what you're feeling.
Like my body is remembering pain faster than my mind can process it.
Women survive traumatic births, and people expect gratitude afterward. Nobody asks whether the experience emotionally destroyed them.
Your fear makes sense.
I spent years terrified of childbirth. Then motherhood gave me new fears I didn't even know existed.
Fear after trauma is not irrational. It's your nervous system trying to protect you.
Understanding trauma doesn't erase fear, but it removes the loneliness around it.
Fear changes time. Minutes become emotional wars.
The first test was inaccurate. You're not pregnant.
I'm not ready to survive that again. People think healing means fear disappears. Sometimes healing just means understanding why the fear exists.
I used to think becoming a mother was the hardest thing that happened to me. But honestly, finding myself afterward was harder.
That day taught Amara something important. Trauma healing isn't about becoming fearless. It's about no longer hating yourself for being afraid.
And walking out of that hospital. Amara finally understood the difference between weakness and wounds.
Healing becomes visible the moment a woman stops apologizing for surviving.
Give me confidence.
I spent so long grieving the woman I used to be.
I almost missed the strength of the woman I became. There she is. No, this version fought harder to exist.
Before motherhood, Amara knew beauty. After survival, she finally understood power.
Some apologies arrive late, but they still matter.
You look lighter.
I feel more honest.
I taught you survival, but not softness.
My generation believed strong women never complained. Now I think many of us were simply suffering quietly.
I spent years thinking I was broken for struggling.
No.
You were honest in a world that rewards women for silence.
Healing becomes generational the moment women stop romanticizing their suffering.
There's something terrifying about speaking honestly in rooms built on appearances.
Amara. Motherhood almost erased me.
Not because I didn't love my child, but because nobody prepared me for how completely women are expected to disappear inside motherhood.
I suffered postpartum depression while people complimented how beautiful motherhood looked on me. And the most dangerous lie women are taught? That sacrifice is the same thing as love. Women deserve identities beyond survival. And mothers deserve honesty beyond gratitude.
For the first time, Amara's honesty no longer sounded shameful. It sounded powerful.
For months, Amara searched for the woman she used to be. Tonight, she finally stopped looking backward.
Motherhood didn't destroy me.
Silence almost did.
You changed a lot of women tonight.
I just told the truth women have been punished for saying out loud.
That was the real transformation. Amara stopped measuring herself against the impossible mother society demanded, and started honoring the woman who survived. And staring at her reflection that night, Amara finally recognized the woman in the mirror. Not the woman before motherhood, the woman after survival.
Healing never returned Amara to who she was before. It taught her how to live after becoming someone new.
I used to fear motherhood would erase me forever. Now I know women can rebuild themselves after breaking.
You seem happy.
Not happy every second, just finally alive inside my own life again.
That was enough, more than enough.
The woman who once felt erased had finally found her voice. Motherhood did not fail me. The silence surrounding women's suffering did. I wrote this book for every woman who loved her child deeply while secretly mourning herself. Women deserve more than survival. We deserve identities, softness, rest, truth, and the freedom to exist beyond sacrifice.
Beautiful.
Amara once thought honesty would isolate her.
Instead, it connected her to thousands of women hiding the same pain.
Love changed once they stopped pretending.
Do you regret becoming a mother?
No, but I regret how alone I was inside it.
You know something? Women are taught to disappear so naturally that nobody notices when it's happening.
I notice now.
That's the thing about healing. It doesn't erase the scars. It just stops them from feeling shameful.
And maybe that's what real love becomes after survival. Not perfection. Presence.
To the woman I used to be, I'm sorry nobody warned you how lonely motherhood could feel. You were never weak for struggling.
You were overwhelmed in a world that romanticizes female suffering. You kept trying to become the perfect mother, when all you really needed was permission to remain human. And if another woman ever reads this while quietly falling apart, I hope she learns this sooner than I did. A mother is still a woman, and women deserve to survive too. This was never a story about motherhood alone. It was a story about identity,
About grief. About survival. And about a woman who finally stopped apologizing for being human.